It's been good. I enjoy coming here. I kind of dread it a little bit because it's a chaos environment.
Yes.
But there's always cool stuff to see, and I get to see my friends that, sometimes I only see them at NAMM. Catch up with a lot of people and see new products. It's fun.
Cool. Well, here at Bionic Buzz, we're all about people's passions. Where your passion for music come from that made you want to get into a career being a producer?
I think my mom's record collection. I wanted to be a radio DJ when I was really little, so I started making cassettes of my radio shows, playing her vinyl, and then I think Jimi Hendrix is, and those records are kind of what switched my brain onto the studio as like a tool to create with. So that, and it just kind of learned along the way. It's like I was never really good at being in a band, so because I was never a very disciplined musician. My parents wouldn't give me drums, was because that's what I wanted. They gave me a guitar instead, which was fine. But I don't know. I just decided I wanted the studio to be my instrument. And
it's funny, when I interview a lot of radio DJs, they say they wanted to be in a band, but they weren't good enough. So, how did your career start? Where'd you go to school or anything?
I went to I dropped out of college, and my dad was very angry at me, and so so he in that it's sort of like, okay, I got to do something with my life, and I found the recording workshop, which is still a school that's going on. It's in south of Columbus, Ohio, called the Recording Workshop. There was an ad in the back of Rolling Stone magazine in I guess it's been about 1987, and I was like, maybe I could do that. And so I just, I saved money for a year and a half, and I went and did that. And that's a really short, great program, and got out of there and talked my way into a studio job, and which was in Bethesda, Maryland. And I had an assistant engineer job, and they put me on the late night sessions with, local bands and whatnot. And I sort of started to see that I could not only just be an engineer, but have an effect on the outcome. And I sort of turned my mind onto the job as a producer, and I've just kind of been going since then.
Cool. For those who don't know about you, talk about like your career, what bands you worked with.
Well, I worked in Maryland for about a year and a half, and then nobody we've ever heard of, or that I remember. And I moved out to San Francisco, and I had a job out there in San Francisco. I had the good fortune of working with Eric Valentine as an engineer, and so I worked on some early things that I worked on were Smash Mouth and Third Eye Blind with him. He sent me to start a record for him with a band called Citizen King, but I had been recording and stuff for kind of a while, and I had helped start a studio in San Francisco that he had come, and that's where we met because I was assisting him. And around that same time, I had been a long-time Pro Tools user. Around that same time, I got an opportunity to work with Tom Waits, who I was a huge fan of. Made 3 records with Tom Waits. And then, things kind of, they grow and they build. And then I think probably Modest Mouse was another significant record along the way. Buddy Guy as well. And then had the opportunity to work with Kings of Leon. And my past,
great bands, yeah.
My past and center, I've worked with Nora Jones, Kaleo, James Bay, which are more recent stuff. Shania Twain a couple of years ago, Chris Daughtry. It's a very, a really long and privileged list. Bands like Dawes, so many great things. I can't even think of it all. But it's just a slow progression. You go from being somebody, I had the advantage of having a lot of traditional recording skills because of where I entered, and then where technology was changing. I had a lot of traditional skills, and then I was an early adapter of Pro Tools. I started out actually with a sound designer card, and because you could integrate that, you could do digital audio with 4 tracks of digital audio in Mark of the Unicorn's. I'm drawing a blank on what that program was called. But so the hip hop records I was making, it was great to be able to take vocal samples and fly stuff around digitally with the MIDI information, and synchronize that stuff. And then so just provided a lot of opportunities. You know, it's like I lived in San Francisco and I had 3 Pro Tools rigs before studios had them. You know, so I would rent my Pro Tools rig. You know, I could show up with my Pro Tools rig and run it, and you know, yeah. I mean, it's just like kind of so a recording engineer kind of found my footing and strengths and successes as a recording engineer, and then that gives you opportunities as a mix engineer, have success there, and then it's like, you know, then you get opportunities to produce records, and just kind of like it's building. You know, you're constantly in this business as you know, as working as a record maker. You're constantly challenged at every stage you're going to graduate to like sort of prove yourself. So you know, you always have to sort of break the mold and push ahead. So there's a lot of good luck involved and showing up and working hard. But that's the main ingredient: show up, work hard, and be a decent person, somebody creative and fun to be around, and that's the way you get more opportunities.
Is there any upcoming projects or anything you'd like to plug before we leave? Or?
I'm finishing a record next week with my good friend Dallas Green. It's a City and Color record. Some things I don't want to say yet because I will jinx them.
Yeah.
There's a really great band from New York called Oak and Ash that we're starting a record at the end of February, which I'm very excited about. They're unsigned. It's like an independent record. Very excited about that. I'm going to be making a movie. I'm working on a movie as a music producer for a film based on Tom Waits' music and lyrics and incorporating it into the film. I'm very excited about it because we're going to be recording the music and performances live while they're filming, but we're not going to be able to see any microphones.
I like to see that.
Yeah, me too. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
We've been doing a little proof of concept sessions, and it's going to be great. It's going to be fun. It's going to be challenging. I'm looking forward to that. That's what immediately comes to mind.
Cool. Thank you so much for taking time to talk to us.
Yeah, man.